We was always told a lie about graphics being important to sell games. That was a damn lie. We was told multi-million-dollar visuals, photorealistic worlds, and cinematic spectacle would make the games better. We was told to upgrade your PCs to help with the performance of these photorealistic games. This is what success supposed to look like. Well, that was a lie. So why did these games with all their graphical horsepower completely bomb? And some of the best games of all time don't? They look like this. They also could look like this. Hell, even they could look like this. What the hell is going on? For decades, you can compare the advancement of technology to the advancements of the real world. More polygon, highly res textures, ray tracing, which no one even likes. It's an arm race for graphical fidelity, and studios are spending hundreds of millions of dollars just to keep up. But the evidence is piling up that they might be fighting the wrong word and wasting millions of dollars. Today we're going to explore the counterintuitive truth about what really makes a game sell and why the industry obsession with graphics might be a losing battle. The answer isn't about counting pixels, it's about something more fundamental. Chasing photorealism has become a trap. It's a beast that demands ever-growing sacrifice of time, money, and manpower. A single AAA game can now cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make, and a huge portion of that budget goes straight into graphics. At the Callisto Protocol, for example. On the surface, yes, the games look good, the environments, the atmosphere, the character models, even the aliens. It looks like something out of a horror film. It costs roughly around 162 million to make. The publisher Crafton had huge expectations, hoping to sell 5 million copies to make it all worthwhile. But the reality was brutal. Sale forecast was slashed to just 2 million, even hitting that number was a struggle. And this was supposed to be a remake of another amazing game. Why, you might ask? Because the game did look good, but players and critics all point to the same thing. The gameplay was the same thing after so many hours. Lack of fresh ideas. Even the own CEOs admitted the game failed because it was missing a gameplay edge to set it apart. Despite its visuals, it couldn't escape the shadow of the very games it was trying to copy. Like Dead Space, it ended up being a beautiful, very expensive echo. And this isn't a one-off thing. Immortals of Avium, another game that looks amazing on the surface, we put built on Unreal Engine 5, met a similar fate. With a reported budget of 125 million, it was a massive gamble on a new IP, but it launched to a whisper, packing out just 751 concurrent players on stream. But that number is probably down now, but who cares? It became one of 2023's biggest flops, leading to layoffs at the studio. Former developers called the project massively overscoped and a truly awful idea for a first game. Not because it was bad, but because average games trying to stand out with blockbuster visuals in an already crowded market. Gaming just cannot sell on visuals. Problem could be twofold. First, the returns are diminishing. The visual leap from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 was massive. The leap from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, it's an upgrade, but it's not too much different, which is why in the year 2025, niggas are still asking, my PS4 could run that. Can it run on PS4? But each new level of graphical fidelity costs exponentially more to make. For improvement, that's getting harder and harder for the average player to even see. Second, focusing so hard on realism often comes at the expense of everything else. When the budget is stretched thin to the graphics, creativity in other areas get left behind. What you often get in a game that's beautiful, and that's it. A generic focus tested experience that looks amazing in trailers but lacks the soul to create connections with players. So just basically get a beautiful woman with no personality. So if chasing realism is a trap, what's the alternative? So if chasing realism is a trap, what's the alternative? It's not make the graphics look bad. It's actually just different graphics driven by a strong, cohesive, and memorable art style. Art style is a game's visual identity, colors, the shapes, the design that everything works together. Create a specific mood and feel. It's the difference between a game that looks realistic and games that look iconic. For example, look at Minecraft and Zelda, The Legend of Zelda, most Nintendo games. None of these are chasing photorealism. Instead, they use stylized visuals to create unique and instantly recognizable worlds. Player can know what it is just by looking at it. This is where indie games has really known the way for years, proving you don't need $1 billion budget to make something successful and beautiful. Look at Hollow Knight, made by a small team. The game's hands-on 2D art style is both melanolic and gorgeous. The game's hands-on 2D art style is gorgeous and unique. That unique look helped it stand out, and combined with rock-solid gameplay, it sold for over 2.8 million copies by early 2019. That's probably even more now. And number 2 for Hollow Knight is coming out soon, I believe. We'll take Valheim with its low poly, almost Russell look. You might think it's from the 80s or 90s, yet it still perfectly captures a rugged, mystical vibe of a Viking world. The game was a breakout hit, selling 5 million copies in its first month and 12 million sales by late 2023, which I'm pretty sure it has gone up over the course of the last 2 years. And it was only made by mostly 5 people. The success wasn't built on teraflops, but on a clear artistic vision that perfectly supported its survival and exploration gameplay. Great art style does more than just look good. It serves the gameplay. It can make the action clearer, easier. It can guide your eye, create emotional response, pull you deeper into the world, and creates a brand that's instantly recognizable. And while raw graphical power looks dated, the moment new hardware comes out, a strong art style is timeless. And that brings us to the real part of the matter. This isn't about graphics versus gameplay. It's about how all the pieces of a game, art, mechanics, story, sound, and everything else all fits in one cohesive experience. This is what you call holistic design. In fact, studies suggest this integrated quality is one of the most significant factors in games' commercial success. It's been found that the holistic quality of a game most strongly influences everything from direct sales to a company's stock price. Other research confirms that high quality games don't just sell better, they also build a developer's reputation, giving their games a much longer shelf life and boosting sales for future projects. This is where the magic happens. A game truly succeeds when the visual serves the gameplay. Gameplay reinforces the stories, and the sound enhances the atmosphere. And all these elements work together, the game becomes more than just some of its parts. This is where the magic happens. A game truly succeeds when its visual serves the gameplay reinforces the story, and the sound enhances the atmosphere. All these elements work together, the game becomes more than just the sum of its parts. Just take Power for example. Even though it's not the graphically powerhouse like other games I mentioned, it has a simple look, yet it sold over 50 million copies on Steam alone and pulled in tens of million players worldwide. Why? Because the design. While controversial, it is cohesive. The monster casting, survival crafting, and base building all feed into a single compelling loop that players find incredibly addictive. The graphics are simply good enough to sell a fancy, and the systems are strong enough to keep players hooked for hundreds of hours, which can happen because they still update this game even with the lawsuit that they getting from Nintendo. That's neither here nor there. I don't care to talk about that. Nintendo's Yakuza, I have no beef with y'all. Now take a look at Callisto Protocol. The graphics was amazing. The gameplay felt at odds with itself. It had a clumsy dodge system mechanic. All the fights was the same, and that killed the tension. But the graphics looked good. That was about it. The graphics was good. and everything else was just bad. And it just made playing the game bad. Great game design isn't about having the absolute best of everything all in one. It's about making smart, deliberate choices where every element supports a central vision. This approach doesn't just make the game a commercial hit, it also makes it more cost effective. It focuses researchers on what actually matters for the player's experience, instead of putting money into graphical arms race that pays less and less over time. So what's the takeaway? Great graphics don't just sell the game. The obsession with photorealism has led it down an expensive and creatively draining path. We've been sold on the idea that bigger is better, more polygons equal more fun, but evidence says otherwise. Games that last, the ones at the top of the chart year in and year out, aren't just the ones that look the most realistic. They're the ones with strong identity, have unique art style, compelling gameplay, clear, cohesive vision. They're the ones where every part works in harmony to create something special. From the blocky worlds of Minecraft to the painterly landscapes of Vellum, success ain't found in just the graphics alone. It's found in everything else being good. Story, gameplay, atmosphere, and the sound. So the industry needs to stop chasing photorealism and value everything else. Now, with that being said, you guys tell me what some of the games that you love, even though the graphics ain't the best of the best. Tell me in the comments. And that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.